Hey guys, this is Rob. Have you ever wondered how to deal with revisions in your Revit model? Well, let me show you how that's done. I'm here in our sample tutorial model we've been learning on, and I'm on the second floor plan, power. And let's say that I have a revision to make. I've decided to move this studio panel from meter center 1 circuit 3. I want to move it to another circuit. So in meter center 1, let's take this and move it down to 20. I've decided I want it circuit 20. Now I need to document this as a revision with a revision cloud and a delta and all of that. Let's say it's for plan review updates or even just for a revision in the field for this project. Well, the way Revit does that, it has a separate tool for doing this. We don't just draw clouds and deltas that are just lines and circles. We have a system in place. The way you get to this is it's in the View tab is one way to get to it. The View tab, sheet composition, and so that's kind of what makes sense, is it's part of a sheet. So if we go to revision, there's a revision bubble here. There's two places for revisions. This is where you set it up. The other place is where we're going to actually draw the cloud. So this is how we set up a revision, and you get this dialog box. And this is, built into Revit. So it starts you out with revision number 1. You can tell it you want numeric or alphanumeric. You can give it a date, revision, description. And then, so over here, first of all, you can do numbering per project or per sheet. So that means if all of your sheets are going to have delta 1, be, let's say, addendum 1, you would use a per project. That is how we typically do projects. Architects typically do it that way as well. In fact, a lot of times architects want you to use the same delta and revision name as they do. So it's a per project. Very rarely, but it's here, you can do it per sheet. So if your sheet E1 has a delta 1, but sheet E3 has a delta 1 that's a different date, if you do deltas per sheet, this is how you would do it. Like, again, that's not as common for us. So per project. And then you can go numeric or alphanumeric. Typically it's numeric. Sometimes you will see alphanumeric, and you can put prefixes and suffixes and, A1, A2, whatever you want. They could say REV1. So you can do it that way, but we typically have it set up as numeric. And you can also add prefix and suffix to that if you want to. But we're going to keep it simple right now and just go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the date, we're going to put today's date. We're going to call this revision addendum 1. And you can put some of this other information if you want. It's not issued yet, so this is current. If we were adding revision 2, I would check this as issued so we know that it's already been issued. We want to show cloud and tag. You can change this to nothing, to just the tag, which we will for past revisions. And cloud and tag is what we want. So we apply that. Now we've set up the revision for use. Now to actually use it, we will go to the annotate. It's an annotative element, and it's up here under detail called revision cloud up top. Now, where do you want to apply this cloud? You can apply it at the view level, which this is just a view, floor plan view, or you can apply it at the sheet level. Up to you. I have decided to apply mine to the plan view level. So in case on my sheet that my view gets moved around, the cloud moves with it. I don't have that choice for certain other views, but for a plan view, I can apply the cloud here. So I will do that. So what we do is just hit the revision cloud, and of course we want to save it. I will later. Hit the revision cloud, and it puts us into the sketch mode. Again, you can tell by the tools and the check finish edit mode. So it's either the edit or sketch mode. We can sketch our cloud how we want and then accept it. You can use all the tools up here. If you use a line, then it is just applying a cloud to a linear pattern. And you can do multiple lines and it just connects like this. And then say OK. And this is a really thick line that we've set up in our template to be that way. If you use some other templates, you might end up having a really thin line. And if this is too thick, we can change it. And just, we'll dive right into that right now. The way you can change it is you can go over to the Manage tab and the Object Styles. And this is where you get to the line weights of different objects. And this happens to be annotation object, and it's revision clouds down here. So the revision cloud tag is set for a line weight of 4, and the cloud itself is a line weight of 8. Let's just change this to 6, just for example. Apply it. So that makes it thinner. And one other thing I should have done, let me do it again. Object Styles. Lately, City around here has been requiring these clouds to be red. They want things in color now. So let us go to the revision tag itself, change it from black to red, and change the cloud from black to red. And that helps them stand out. See that? So that's one way to draw this revision cloud. Let me delete that. You can also do it, again, annotate revision cloud. You can use the default rectangle. And that just lets you simply 2-point rectangle, voila. There's other things. You can have arcs, you can have, many different kinds of tools to draw your cloud, but typically line and rectangle are what I find most useful. Now that we've drawn the cloud, we need to tag it. Now you could just draw a triangle with a 1, but that wouldn't be very Revit-y. We need to do this with a smart tag. So if we go up to tag, and depending on which version of the template you have, you may or may not have a revision tag loaded. So for example, in this case, if I try to tag it, nothing's happening. If I click on it, there's no tag loaded for revision clouds. Yeah, we need to load one. So this is how you do it if there's not one loaded. Go to Yes. Under Families, we have a revision tag right here. And it's a simple delta triangle. So that's loaded. Now, when we tag this, we get our delta we're expecting. So you could have a leader on it. I typically turn off the leader for mine and just put a delta 1. Now that is tagged. So if I was to change this revision to revision 2, the delta would change accordingly. So that's how you do that. Now, on the one-line diagram or other types of things, let's go to a panel. On this panel, I cannot, under Annotate, I cannot put a revision cloud on this panel schedule. The one-line diagram, Annotate, I can include revision clouds on one-line diagrams. So I can do that. Now, I don't have any changes to meter center in this, but let's just say I do. So for illustration purposes, we will do the same thing. Tag by category. We already have loaded the delta. There it is. Simple as that. That's a very fast revision cloud. So now if we go to the sheet level, you can see that that cloud is reflected in the sheet. And over here, it includes addendum 1. Now, some title blocks will actually have the delta show up. It depends on how the title block was set up. So this one is not. So we don't get a delta in this project. But other projects, you will see that the delta will actually show up as well. So that is how you do that. Now, if we want to, let's say we've already issued delta 1. Now we jump into our project. It's time for a delta 2. How do we get rid of the old delta? Well, that's when we go back to our view and get into our revision dialog box. We can say this one has already been issued. We only want to show the tag, and we want to add another revision, revision 2. We can put another date. We can call this plan review. Let's say we had some changes to make from plan review. We're going to cloud and tag this one, and everything else is good. Now you will see that the old delta, the old clouds are gone. The delta stays. Any changes we make, and let's say we want to make a change on the sheet level, if that's your preference. So we can add, with annotate, we can add revision clouds now to this sheet. Check it. Now when I tag this, I get my delta 2. So I'm currently working on delta 2. Over here, again, it would, other sheets would show a delta, but there's our date and plan review that we put in our revision dialog box. So that is kind of the long and short of how to get revisions onto your project. You can even change midstream if you really need to. Hopefully you don't get pulled that direction. But in the next one, you can make this alphanumeric. So you started with A. You can change where you start if you want to start, with something else or a different sequence. So there's quite a variety of things you can do. But that is how revisions are handled. So until the next time, thanks for watching.